Chapter 16. So, has a doctor told you anything? Tucker asked when he returned to the room. He suddenly had a lot on his plate that he needed to do. The doctor was in this morning before you got here. They think they can insert a stent. Why? Are you in a hurry to run off somewhere? Whitley crossed her arms and arched her left eyebrow as if she thought she could intimidate Tucker with her expression. That call was my coach. The guy who punched me contacted the league, and they want to suspend me for Sunday's game. Can they do that? His father asked. I thought I got the charges dropped. You did, but evidently they want to make a lesson out of this. However, that's water under the bridge. The bigger issue is this center where I've been volunteering. I was supposed to be there today to help fund and plan a Christmas party for the kids. And these kids deserve a party. Some of them have very little. So I need to make some calls, and I'll have to fly back tomorrow, but I want to be here for the surgery if I can. His father's eyes glistened with unshed tears, and he blinked them away, then coughed to clear his throat. I think that's a great idea, Tucker. And if it means you have to miss my surgery, it's okay with me. Whitley stood and placed her hand on his forehead. Are you sure you're feeling okay? You're willing to spend money to throw a party for other people even though it might not help you out? Who are you, and what have you done with my big brother? Hey, I help people, Tucker said. But as the words left his mouth, he realized Whitley was right. He had been selfish. He'd been thinking about how the losses affected him, and not about the rest of the men on the team. He'd been wallowing in his sorrows, which had caused him to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And he'd dismissed community service at first because it would take up his time. Okay, maybe you're right. I haven't been the best example of helping people. But working at the center has made me see things differently. Well, I'm proud of you, Whitley said, squeezing his shoulder. Me too, his father said from the bed. What can we do to help? I want to purchase new equipment for the center, and then I need someone to go shopping for toys for the kids. Whitley tossed her hair over her shoulders and placed her hands on her hips. I'm a great shopper. I could run and get the toys. Awesome. He pulled his wallet out of his pocket and handed her a credit card. Take this and buy at least 50 gifts. Her eyes widened. 50? Do I have a limit? Tucker chuckled. Well, try not to break the bank, but no limit. This is going to be so much fun. As the light glistened in her eyes, he wondered if he had just made a terrible mistake. Dad, do you think you feel up to shopping online for some equipment for the center? I need basketballs, softballs, jump ropes, the like. I can do that, his father said. Scrolling and clicking is my specialty. Great. Tucker handed the laptop to his father. No work, just shopping. His father rolled his eyes but promised. Tucker took out the phone and sat down in one of the nearby chairs. He had a lot of phone calls to make, but before he dialed the first number, his eyes wandered to his father. Could this be the start of a better relationship for them? If so, he had two people he needed to thank, Shelby and God. Yes, that's right. Tomorrow night at 7 p.m. It's going to be an amazing community event, and Tucker Jackson asked specifically for Sylvie Sanders. Can she make it? Shelby swallowed the seed of jealousy that had sprouted in her stomach when Tucker requested Sylvie. She knew it was probably just because the woman had already covered one story and would be the natural choice to do the next one as well. But as she still wasn't sure where she stood with Tucker, she couldn't help the jealous feeling swimming through her body. He hadn't mentioned rescheduling their date when he'd called. I think we can make that work. I'll put the story on Sylvie's docket. Thank you so much. Shelby hung up the phone and shook her head. She'd spent the last week worrying that this event would never happen, but now it appeared unstoppable. She and Kinsey had picked up the money from Tucker and purchased Christmas decorations and food. Then Kinsey had started decorating while Shelby had called to get the media coverage in place. The newspaper and the local news and radio stations had agreed to send someone out, and Shelby had a feeling this would be their best Christmas party ever. A giant smile parted Shelby's lips as she exited the reception area to see the kids helping Kinsey decorate. Jingle bells played softly on an old boombox, but the kids didn't seem to care. They were laughing and smiling in a way that Shelby hadn't seen in a long time. Darby was standing on a chair helping Kinsey hang streamers. while Benji sorted out the strings of Christmas lights. Quinn and Kayla were setting up the artificial tree, while still others were pulling the freshly purchased ornaments out of the box. "How can I help?" Shelby asked as she neared the group. "We have to get this place ready for tomorrow night." "Is Mr. Tucker coming to help too?" Benji asked. "He had to go see his dad, but he's helping from down there. However, he promised he'll be back tomorrow for the party," Shelby said. "We should do something special for him for hosting the thing last night," Darby said as she pushed her glasses up her nose. "That was really nice of him to show us how to play, even though I don't really like football." Shelby smiled at the girl. "You're right, it was. We should do something nice for him. Do you guys have any ideas?" "We could make him a card," Darby said. "Something colorful and pretty, and maybe with unicorns on it." Shelby mashed her lips together to keep from laughing. Somehow she doubted Tucker was the unicorn kind. "I think that would be lovely, but maybe something else as well, since he's a boy and probably more of a sports fan than a unicorn fan." "We could give him a football," Quinn said, "though I'm not sure he would want any of ours." "Do we have enough to purchase a new football, Miss Shelby?" Benji asked, pausing his untangling to shoot her a very serious look. "I think we might. What are you thinking?" "What if we got him a new football and we all signed it? You know, like people do with a cast? Only he wouldn't have to cut it off and he could keep it forever." Shelby swallowed the emotion rising in her throat and forced her hand to stay at her side and not dab at her eyes. She knew if she did, the floodgate would drop and she would end up crying in front of the kids, which would probably scare them more than anything. "That's a great idea, Benji." "Yeah, great idea, man," Quinn said as he clapped a hand on Benji's shoulder. The other kids echoed their agreement, and Shelby watched Benji sit just a little taller in his chair. Yes, this was exactly what had been missing before Tucker came into their lives. "Well, I guess I better run to the store and grab a football then, so you guys have a chance to sign it tonight. Can you hold down the fort for a bit, Kinsey?" "Are you kidding? I'm totally in my element here." It was true. Kinsey looked like a natural as she hung the streamers. As Shelby looked around, she realized the gem had already been transformed into something magical. Perhaps Kinsey had found her calling, after all.